Hey everyone! Welcome to Testify. It is your girl Sabrina Carey, or should I say Sister Sabrina Carey. Thank you all for coming on to watch Testify. You are in for a treat today. I'm so excited for this edition. I just felt led to do something for fathers because we know Father's Day is coming up, and I just think it's befitting for us to definitely just celebrate our fathers, right? Mother's Day is just a beautiful day, and it's something that we celebrate pretty much every single day. Mother's Day is magnified, and it should be. It should be. But I also think that Father's Day is something that we definitely have to just give more credit to. We have to definitely just turn the volume up on it because it is such a beautiful thing when we see fathers taking their position and doing all that they know to do and really pouring in, teaching their children. We don't see it enough, but when we do see it, we have to applaud it and we have to encourage them to continue to go on. So on Testify, I wanted to come on today and just do exactly that. Just shout out our fathers. It is just a beautiful, beautiful thing, like I said, to see them taking their position and really pouring into our children, especially this day and age. So that's what we're going to do today on Testify. And this is what this episode is really called, Fathers That Testify. Today, I have a very special guest, which is my cousin, Jonathan Player. I invited him to come on because I just see his journey. I see how he goes above and beyond, truly. I mean, he really sticks out. He really sticks out just because of how he pours into his children and the methods that he takes. That there is no, he goes above and beyond to me from what I've seen. Right, I don't think that you could really ever give overly give to your children, because it's that role is a sacrificial role, right? So we give of ourselves and it's endless, and you do what you need to do to get the results. And so I have seen him do that. I've seen him sacrifice. I've seen him give and give of himself, and his children are beautiful, intelligent, and loving children, kind children. And so I definitely wanted him to come on and again and give his testimony, his journey of what that looks like, and how he got to that point of going that distance, right? Regardless of what we may have experienced in our own life, but how does he do things differently? And so I wanted him to come on and testify. I hope I'm not babbling, but I wanted him to come on and testify today. So without further delay, I'm going to bring him on. He's my cousin. His name is Jonathan Player. And you guys give him a good God bless you in the chat as he comes on and share his heart. Amen. Hey, Jay. Welcome to Testify.
Thank you for having me, Bree. I appreciate the kind sentiments. Thank you,
Yes.
Bree. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, listen, I had to have you on. It was just a matter of time. And I just thought what just a befitting time to have you on, just to really talk about, like I said, fathers and what that looks like. Because 2022, wow. I mean, we have literally shifted. We have shifted. And I think it came in 2020. Things are so much different from when we were growing up, and our children are faced with so much adversity, so much, just a lot. They're faced with a lot of things, a lot of challenges. And so to be a parent in today's time takes extra. I think God has to multiply our peace, has to multiply our wisdom, our joy, everything, our discernment for our children today, because of the things that are happening. I mean, literally, you can't even send your kids to school without, I mean, actually, I should say that when we send our kids to school, it's like we're sending it's like a war zone, right? There's so much happening. So you have to be able to equip them to be able to walk in that environment and just do things a little bit differently than when we were in that same, that same situation. When I was in the first grade, it was different than today. Yeah. So I want to let you testify. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and you go ahead and just feel free, have a liberty to just share your story as God leads you.
Okay, Bree. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think in order to kind of get a grasp or understanding of how I got to this point, we would first have to start with the origins, right? Like, okay, I'm from South Central LA, as you know. You talked about war zone or war. Yeah. That's a very operative term. Being born over here in the 1980s, I mean, we was living in the Reaganomics era. So we were dealing with the drugs, dealing with homelessness, dealing with families being torn apart from pillar to post, marriages being annulled or broken up, brothers killing brothers, sisters killing sisters. Like, that was kind of like the tide, where the tide began to turn as far as Black families were concerned, right? We had our elders coming from the South. They were more together, more loving, more caring, and, trying to keep everything together. And then, once the 80s came around, things changed drastically, right? So, I think, so that kind of gave me the understanding of the dynamics of war in the flesh and the physical, and how things could get, how deadly things can become, even if it isn't a physical death, right? You got the spirituality pulling at you at every turn. You got just so many different temptations to deal with. So thankfully, though I was surrounded by some very serious people, right? Who taught me a lot of what many may perceive to be the bad things, right? It kind of helped me with survival, right? So you have no choice but to live in a survival type of mindset. But I had great people along the way who poured into me in a way where they got me to kind of see that it's bigger than just my circumstances. I had, like my grandmother Mary. I think about her mother, your grandmother, my great grandmother Henrietta, right? Yeah, she was the first person to let me know I was doing too much as a kid. Like, nah, you can't come around here until you get your act together, type of thing. And it forced me to look within myself. I may have been like 5 or 6 years old, but I was really living a very detrimental kind of lifestyle, even at that age. And so that made me look within and try to figure things out. Like, okay, well, what must I be doing if I can't come inside and play Nintendo with the kids, right? I must be really doing something like that I shouldn't be doing, right?
Right.
Because I was really thinking that was the thing to do. Those things were the things to do in order to survive. But they got me to see that it's bigger than just my circumstance, right? I had some teachers who counted me out. They said that I would be deceased before I graduated from elementary school.
Wow.
That really gave me a lot of motivation to prove, them wrong. Let's see. I had my dad wasn't around, so it wasn't nothing but resentment there. But his mother, my grandmother, rest in peace, Miss Barbara Player, she grew up as a military child. Like, her father was in the military, his father was in the military. They fought in World War II, like just countless amounts of wars. So she would talk to me from a military point of view, even when I was a child, and I was just like grasping everything. And she would talk about spiritual warfare and how the enemy is out to get your soul, and but you got God who's trying to, like, keep you upright and make sure that when everything is said and done, you'll be on the winning side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that kind of like that really like spoke to me. And I was always fascinated. I was fascinated by warfare, right? And so as time went along and I had to go through my ups and downs, my trials and tribulations, I never shied away from my core ethics and my core beliefs. And I always felt like if I was gonna have children, when I would get visions that I would see my kids along. Like, it's crazy because I would feel as though I would never make it past the age of 17, right? Because I had my hero who passed away at the age of 17. I felt like, well, if he didn't survive, there's just no way I'm gonna outlive him, right?
Wow.
Until I woke up on my 18th birthday and I'm like, yo, I'm really here for a purpose. I'm really here for a reason. Wow. When I would have these visions about my children, it was like that really kept me. That really kept me focused. It kept me aspiring for more. And I felt like, you know what? When my time comes, I'm going to do everything it takes to make sure that they're never at a disadvantage. They're never at a deficit. They never feel like they're not loved or appreciated. I'll be danged if they have to ever walk in my shoes as far as the things that I was doing as a kid. So, the gang stuff was out. And thankfully I was blessed. I was blessed with some beautiful children that I would be chosen to pour into.
Amen.
I got. Wow. I mean, I don't know. Where do I go from there? Do I go to the married part?
First, let's stop right there, right? Wow. I mean, just even that part of just like you said, the mindset of being in this place where you said you didn't even think that you would live past 17 years old. And then you wake up on your 18th birthday like, well, wait a minute. Wow. This wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. So now it introduces you to another like thought process, like, okay, hold on. So then where do I go from here? But just like I said, that mindset of, okay, I'm not going to live past 17 years old. That to me is like, wow. And even just because where you grew up at, and all the things that you saw, you said your hero, friends that you ran with, they didn't make it. And so that was your environment. But wow, to me, that already, because people don't understand unless you live in that situation, unless you live there, they don't understand how could you have that mindset. But when you're accustomed, like I said, even I brought up today, like our kids are going through things we've never gone through before. A lot of us have not gone through that before, where our kids are going to school, like we saw on the news, going to school. You should never have that mindset of not knowing, okay, am I going to make it back to mommy or daddy today? God, I mean, that's so much pressure. That's so much stress. That's so unhealthy, right? God wants us to, he says, I know the thoughts that I think towards you, they're good and not evil, to give you a hope and an expected end. But to have the enemy come in and give us a different type of expectation, like you said, I'm expecting not to wake up, not to live past 17. That is, I just thank God that he broke that off of you, and then you made the conscious decision that I'm not going to pass it to my children. I'm going to change the environment. I'm going to change all of that, and make sure they have the core things, which is knowing that they're loved, knowing that we're glad that they're here. They're not a burden to us. They're not stressing me out, knowing they have a safe place to come home to. And so that already, that right there changes what you see on the outside, because you have the foundation, right? Because you can, and I'm not, listen, those who are listening, Just because you grow up in a situation like what they consider a war zone, bad neighborhood, whatever, doesn't mean that you have to have that mindset, because it's all about, yes, you could see those things on the outside, and it does, like, it is a concern, but as long as the inside, like, you have to really have those foundations there of your children knowing who they are, of your children knowing that they're loved, of your children knowing what respect is and what honor is, and wanting more for themselves, so that they can change the situation. Those are the things that are vital, important, because why? You could be living in Beverly Hills and still have the mindset. I mean, there's some people there who still have the mindset, I don't think I'm gonna live past a certain age. Why? Because you don't have the foundation. Maybe you're not raised by your parents. Maybe the maids are raising you, and the nannies are raising you. There's no love there, and you're getting all the money and everything too soon. And a lot of them are strung out on drugs and different things. So it doesn't mean just because you live in a certain area, but it's just about the what's being given, what's being instilled in you in the home. And like you said, my grandmother spoke to some things to you, and that made you, okay, well, wait a minute, what does she mean by that? You were already thinking, you were already well ahead at 5 years old. You were far ahead mentally. You were already rearranging that in your mind, observing that and trying to make sense of, okay, what am I doing? You were reflecting and like looking and saying, what am I doing that's putting me in a position where this my grandmother is saying I can't come back over here? What am I doing? So to me, yeah, I just wanted to highlight that a little bit more. But go ahead, you can keep going. Yes. So go get to the part.
Well, maybe I should go back a little bit. You said go back to the kids, you said?
Yeah, okay, so fast forward, you're in a position now, you're well over 18 years old. God has blessed you with the vision. You see your children, you actually have them here. And so how do you begin to change those things?
Okay, so let me go back just a little bit, right?
Okay.
So in addition to great grandma, in addition to Grandma Mary, I had there was great grandma and her husband, right, Mr. Lindbergh Lucius, right?
Yes, Dad.
That was the blueprint right there. That was the blueprint. So I was fortunate enough to get a glimpse of what it's like to be a husband and what it's like to be a father. Like I admired that about both of them. The fact that they had a gazillion kids, right? A gazillion great grandchildren and grandchildren, and
I am one of them, and so are you.
Right. I think I was blessed. I was truly blessed in that regard, because though great grandpa wasn't the very talkative type, like he would talk to me. You know what I mean? He would always try to give me game and teach me about things and teach me about life and tell me, you need to slow down and you be careful out there. He stayed on my case about stuff at a very early age. So I appreciate him for that. And I just admired the type of man that he was. All right. So I had him, and then I had I call them Dad and Moms on 96th Street. This is we call them Uncle Snake, right? This is Uncle Snake's parents. They live right across the street from us. They're both in their 80s now, and they've been together for like over 60 years. You know what I mean? And they're still together, still hold hands. Yeah. So I still go see them. I go talk to them. I get my wisdom. I don't stay away too long from them. You know what I mean? And get that advice, that wisdom from them. And so they poured into me along my journey too. You know what I mean? And that was something that I aspired to. And though I knew in my generation it wasn't a thing to get married and have a family and all of that, I'm not conventional. I'm a very unconventional individual. So, and I'm a leader. So I stand on my own 2 feet, and I aspired to it, and I did it, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did it. And it was a great experience. I was blessed with 5 children altogether, right? In the blended family. And I was taught playing basketball and football growing up. I had some very good coaches too, like Coach Tiny, um, Coach Gibson from Dorsey High School. I had Coach Duran from the Hoover Park Bulldogs. That's
All
my
right.
guy. Coach Wiley, right? Those who know Coach Wiley, they know why I'm laughing, right? I'm not gonna go into all of
Okay.
that. But like
Right, right.
they were extremely like different individuals, completely different personalities, you know, like but at the end of the day, they were good teachers, and I'm always one to learn. I'm always one to learn from the good and the bad, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that I can make the right choices for myself,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that it is going to affect other people around me. And so I've always been a leader on the court, off the court, on the football field, off the football field, whatever sport it was. And I've always been given a lot of responsibility over the team, being a leader, right? So my practice habits had to be up to par. And every time I hit the court or the field, I was taught to leave it all on the field. Like when the game is on, it's on. It don't matter how many people are in the stands. It don't matter where we playing at. I've played at all type of hostile environments. You know, all these things help prepare me for life and prepare me for the fire that you go through being a believer, right?
Right, right, right.
So, so that's kind of how I was able to use sports as a microcosm for relationship and for marriage and for being a father, right?
Okay.
So you know, when the game is on, it's on. Once the ball is tipped, once the whistle is blown, it's time to play. And you play until you can't play no more, until the game is completely over with, until, you know, the Most High calls you home, right? And so that way, when you know you left it all on the field, you left it all on the court, you have no regrets.
Right.
Because you know you poured everything out of you. You gave it your absolute all. I know if, God forbid, if it was to end today, my story was to end today, I know for a fact I completely left it all on the field. I didn't shortchange my babies. I didn't lie to them. I told them how this world is and how it could be. I've taught them about history. They could teach you about the past. You know, with me teaching them since they were babies, homeschooling them and the whole nine. Like they are some very, very bright babies, man. Like I've been blessed. I've been blessed to even play a part in that. You know what I mean? They are leaders, and I've given them names. I was given names by the Most High to give my children, right? Before I even seen them physically, like I already had names to give them. And so their names have meaning. Like, for instance, my daughter Janiyah, her middle name is Miira, right? This is a Hebrew name, right? The origin of the name is the light. So my thing was, okay, Lord, you're giving me these names to give the babies. That way it's like they'll never depart, right? Like, like despite however life may kind of throw them and the things they may endure and go through, they have a foundation. It's like I ask my daughter all the time, what's your name? And when she tells me, she's like, oh yeah, daddy, the light. I gotta be the light. Like she knows, you know what I mean? She knows. So look, anytime she gets in trouble, right?
Very good.
She's a lot like me and her grandmother, and she has, you know, a little bit of her mom in her, right? So anytime she gets in trouble, that's the first thing I ask her. You know, what's your name? And then when she thinks of it, I'm like, okay, so how's your actions lining up with who you are?
Wow, that's very good. I mean?
So it's beautiful. Like my son Josiah, his name means the strength of the Lord, right? Now, when I got that name, I said, yo, that sounds like a beautiful name. But then I'm like, yo, I kind of got scared because I'm like, if the Most High is giving me this name to give to this baby, right? There must be some type of demonstration that will happen, right?
Yeah,
that will extract that from that name. Like it has to show, like, this is the strength of the Lord. This isn't anything physical. This isn't anything other than God. You know what I mean? And when that baby was in his mother's womb, she went through a situation. My children's mother, she went through a situation where she had to have an emergency C-section, right? And I believe she had, our family, we had real angels around. We had a lot of nurses coming in and out of the room, and I don't think they were being as attentive to what was going on. I couldn't sleep for some reason. I kept feeling like something's not right, you know what I mean? And she was doing her best to try to rest because she knew she was about to have this baby and everything, right? But in the wee hours of the morning, we had this nurse come in, this one lady, and she was looking at the I forget what you call that, like the monitor. She was looking at the monitor, and she noticed like there was some irregularities, right? Where I believe the heart rate of the baby was like really bad, right? And so she left, and she came back in the room maybe a minute later with like 30 different nurses and doctors. And it was so much commotion going on, but somehow there was never any panic, right? There was never any nervousness. I didn't get scared. I did my best to keep his mother calm and collected in the situation, because I know she could have, been scared. Like, what's going on? This is so sudden, so fast, right?
Yeah.
And so they gave me this gown real fast, and they took her in one room, took her to another room, and I had to put this gown on real fast. I slipped into it, ran in there, and they had already started to like cut her open with the emergency C-section, right? And so I comforted her. I talked to her. I kept her focused, right?
Yeah.
Because that was my job, right? It was my responsibility, and I just knew without a shadow of a doubt that the Most High didn't bring us this far to rob us of anything, right? Even if it wasn't His will to take His life, like whatever the situation may have been, I felt like I was equipped for it, like I was ready for this moment. And so when they took Zaya out, he had his umbilical cord wrapped around his neck twice.
Jesus.
And I mean, if that ain't God, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? And so this boy now is 8 years old. He's just as strong as I was when I was 8 years old. Like,
little John.
He got guns on him. He's funny. He's vibrant. You know what I mean? And you could tell he has a serious purpose. He has a divine purpose. It's really ordained by the Most High. So it's my job to, help orchestrate that.
Yeah.
Not be in control of it.
No.
I had to learn that. I had to learn these things. These were things that I had to learn with my children. I thought I had to be, like micromanage or be in charge of everything. Like, everything had to be perfect. And it's like, no, bro.
Yeah.
You got to really sit back. You have to allow God to be God.
Yes.
You have to allow the Most High to be in control. And you play your position. You play your part as a coach, right? As a parent, you become a coach. So I understand that. I understand that dynamic, right? Being a player and being a coach. Later on, when I got older, becoming a coach, coaching like, Donnell and Marquis, all of his friends and all of that, right? Like that was a great experience that helped me to transition into parenthood. It's because I had a lot. I didn't have one baby. I had like 50 kids, right, on the football team.
Right.
I got 50 kids, and the vast majority of the young kids was looking at me like I was their father.
Yeah.
That's a very serious responsibility that I didn't take for granted. I owned it. You know what I mean? I walked into that purpose, and I never shortchanged those young men. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so, like it was game time. You know what I mean?
That's so good. I love it. That's so good. Just yeah, I know that that testimony all too well. I was, I'm cousins,
You
so
were there.
I'm there. But wow, to God be the glory. Oh my God. Oh my God. And just how you tied that in with coaching, just to look at it from that perspective is really great, because one thing about a coach is that he's able to coach because he's been in that situation before, right?
And
He's not coaching with
prior
having
knowledge.
no prior knowledge or no
Yeah.
experience at all. He is coaching because, again, he's played that, he's been there before, he's learned it, the highs and lows. And then another thing about a coach is a coach sees the entire field, right? They see the full thing. And as a parent, kids are only limited to what they can see, but the parents is like, I've been there before. I've been 1, I've been 5, I've been 10, I've been 15,
Right.
I've been 20, I've been all of those ages. And that's why I'm able to stand in this position as your parent. I've been on all of them, and I see from a different perspective. And I believe God, it gives parents, who are willing to accept their call, because there are some parents who just, they've had a baby, but they're not a parent. You know
Bingo.
what I'm saying? You've had a baby, but you're really not a daddy, or you're really not a mom. You haven't accepted the call, because it's a call.
Yeah.
It's a call.
It is.
Like coaching is a call. You don't have to accept the call. You can't coach anybody and sit in your seat and, just give orders all day, and you're really not in practice. You're not sweating with them. You're not learning the highs and lows, learning who's the weak player, who's the strong player, learning to pull them all together. Coaching takes a skill, and so does being a parent. But also with that is learning, like you said, the key is that God is the head of it all. And I can't micromanage or control anybody. I understand my role. My role is just to get you. I got to coach you. I got to get you to the other side. I got to get you. I got to teach you how to overcome. I got to give you everything that I have. And then also knowing that I have to train you in the way you should go. Like you said, knowing each of your children are different. They all have a different call on their life. Look at their names, and then training them in that way that they should go, right? Not putting them and grouping them all in one thing. No, I'm training you in the way you should go. Not the way I went.
Right.
Maybe my gift was to be, let's just say, I don't know, a writer or whatever. I'm nursing that and training in that direction. But no, maybe this one God is calling to ministry. Maybe this one he's calling to be a dancer. But I'm training you. I'm giving you the fundamentals of life, of having a good character, because wherever you go, you're going to need a good character. Everywhere you go, you're going to have to be kind to people. You're going to have to be honest. You're going to have to walk in humility. You're going to have to know who you are. Like you said, when you act up or you come in this door from school, who are you? I need you to know, who are you? What is your name? Remember who you are. So I think it's awesome that you're already instilling that in them. I know you personally. I know what you're doing. This is someone who, some of you guys follow me on Facebook, but I posted a picture that he had posted a while ago. I posted it on my Facebook of him. He literally transformed his part of his house into a classroom. He had the whole, you literally would think that you were in a classroom. He had the whiteboard up. He had all the, math on the wall, everything that you could think of that would be in a classroom. He literally had it set up like that, the desk, everything that they needed. And he was up and he was teaching them. My cousin is extremely, extremely smart, very smart. Number one, his first language is sign language. He's fluent in sign language. That's his first language, y'all. If you didn't know. But yes, and so he's extremely gifted, very smart young man. But so to watch him really instilling that in his children, I was just so floored by it. I posted it on my Facebook. I got a lot of people who responded by it, but yeah, because to me, it needs to be talked about, it needs to be celebrated. It needs to be recognized that we have young men today that are pouring into their children, not for show, not just for a social media post, but he literally is doing this. He's doing this every single day. And listen, he didn't start doing it when he had children. He was doing it before he was a father. He was doing it before he was a father. He was doing it to our cousins, nieces, and nephews. Listen, he and I would tag team, right? Picking the kids up, taking them to dance class every Saturday. We didn't have kids of our own.
That's real, Bree.
Them up on a Saturday when people would be at the beach and with their boyfriend or their girlfriend. We picking kids up, taking them to dance class.
Yeah, that's the truth though.
Invested and paid for dance class for years for kids. Come on. Bible study, training them up in the way, training them up on with the, to be armed and ready with the scriptures so that they'll know who they are in God. So these are things that he was doing before he became a parent. And so he was able to step in that position. God entrusted him with that. And I just want to say you're doing a phenomenal job. His little girls were in my wedding. Beautiful flower girls. They were in my wedding. They are the sweetest kids. I love them so much. And just again, cousin, thank you so much for coming on. He's a prime example that you don't have to give in to whatever was thrown your way. You could do something different. You can change the narrative. You could shift it. You could change it. It's up to you. And he did that. You heard his testimony from 5 years old. I mean, it started really young with him from 5, even before 5. He grew up in some things, and he didn't share it all with you, but he did. He grew up in some stuff. But you would never think that. If you look at him, his children, you would never think that. So I'm grateful for you coming on, sharing. I'm grateful for your sacrifices. We see the fruit of it now, like our cousins, the ones we poured into, they were little then, but now they're like 19 and 18 and 23 and 25. They're older now, and they come back and they remember those nights. They remember those weekends. They remember the money that you gave. They remember the times that you pulled them to the side or that you showed up to a football game or a basketball game to cheer them on. They remember those times now. And so the same thing with your children, they appreciate you. They love you so much. We all appreciate you and love you so much, and our whole family and everybody who's affiliated, who knows you. He serves in the community as well. How often do you do that? Because I see it on Facebook. I don't know how often it's done though.
All right, so we have so I partner with a comrade of mine. Her name is Miss Rogers, and she has a nonprofit organization. It's called Miss Rogers Neighborhood.
Yes.
And so what we do is we have a few things, right? So we do something in Compton every other Sunday where we have it's called the People's Free Food Drive-Thru, right? And it's on Compton Boulevard. I want to give everyone the address.
Okay, sure.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's the address is 2125 West Compton Boulevard, Compton, California 90220. The location is called Peace of Mind, right? So we do that every other Sunday from 3 to 5. You really want to get out there earlier than that because it gets pretty crowded. It gets hectic. It's a lot of people, a huge turnout. We have all types of foods, different selections. It's really a blessing to the people, man. I'm really glad to be a part of that, right? We also do a pop-up shop. It's every last Saturday of the month, and we do that in the city of Inglewood. The location is called the Better Living Center. The address is 3425 West Manchester Boulevard, Inglewood, California 90305. Right? That's every last Saturday of the month. Right? So at the pop-up shop, you're able to come get hygiene products.
Wow.
Free clothes, free shoes. If you ever want to donate, you can contact me on Facebook. You can hit me at Jonathan Player on Facebook, or you could get in touch with Sabrina. She'll get in touch with me. So we're always collecting and taking donations as far as that's concerned. Because the more we get, the more that we can give, right? That's really what it's about. And we also have a fridge. It's called the People's Fridge, and it's in Watts at the it's at the WLCAC building, right? You're able to get fruits. It's like open to the public. Anyone can walk up to this refrigerator and grab anything out that they want. We have fruits, we have meats, we have vegetables, we have water, we have juice. We're always looking to replenish the fridge with new items or whatnot. Again, it's at the WLCAC building in Watts. The address is 10950 South Central Avenue. That's LA, California 90059 in Watts. So we everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, we everywhere with it, Bree.
That's phenomenal.
We walking in our purpose, Bree. That's what it's about, right?
I see it.
Yeah. You mentioned me teaching, and you mentioned me, doing all these things with the kids and all of that, and I appreciate it, right? But I'll be remiss if I didn't give the credit to the people who poured into me, right? Because they gave me that unction, and the Most High gave me that spirited heart as a kid, and He kept my heart. Like throughout all the hardships and the things that I went through, he kept that heart, and I really appreciate Him for that. That despite it all, I'm still willing to pour out. I'm still willing to give and be a willing participant, right? So I have to give credit to you, because you my partner, right? I don't know if you want to call it Batman and Robin or whatever, Kobe and Shaq, right? Whatever you want to call it, right? And I have to give credit to my children's mother, right? I have to give her credit too, because I didn't do it alone, right?
Yeah,
I didn't do it alone, so I'm not gonna take all the credit. You know what I'm saying? Even though the dynamics of our relationship has changed over time, and we're not on the same page that we were on. Like, there's no ill intent, there's no bitterness, there's none of that. We forgiven and we moving on now. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate the role that she played also with the kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was a team effort too. You know what I mean? I can't take all the credit.
Right.
Yeah. So I owe it for everything that everyone has done for me, whatever their intentions were, whatever their intentions may have been, right? I soaked everything up like a sponge. God rinses me out, and I just give what I'm supposed to give, man. That's really what it's about.
Amen. Wow. Well, to God be all the glory. I thank Him for everything that He's done. I'm grateful for, again, you coming on and sharing. And I just know that the half has not been told for what God has in store for you. We just getting started. Listen, I feel like this yes, God has some things in store, and I think that everybody has a season, right? And I just feel like we had to be preserved for a time, and I think that now is the time where we're starting to see some things that were sown years and years and years ago.
Right.
So, wow, you are definitely a leader in everything that you do. You definitely stick out everywhere you go. just because of, again, what God has placed on the inside of you. And man, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what God is going to do in your life, and in your legacy, in your children, right? So you continue to be encouraged. And again, thank you so much for coming on, sharing. You're always welcome to come back. Everybody, go back and listen. If you didn't get the address for what he's doing with Mrs. Rogers, oh my God, this is phenomenal work. I see the pictures, all the people that are coming out, all the things that are giving away. This is what this is what we're talking about, just being a blessing in the community, just walking in and doing what God has called you to do, whatever that is. And so go out and help. Maybe you don't need to get product, but maybe you have overflow. You've been blessed abundantly. Give to them, help them out. I'm sure they will appreciate that. You can get in contact with me, you can get in contact with Jonathan. Can you give your tag? And then I'll also post it too on your Facebook or your Instagram.
Okay, so the Instagram's been hacked, right? So
that's right.
You can go to Miss Facebook, but you can go to Miss Rogers Neighborhood on Instagram. You can follow her, keep up with all the updates, all the posts, everything as far as what we're doing. And you can reach me personally on Facebook, Jonathan Players.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
All right, cousin. Well, it's been great. Thank you again so much for coming on. We're going to say goodbye to the people. I'm going to say goodbye to you. And again, I love you and thank you so much. And give those babies a kiss for me.
I got you. Love you, Bree. Thank you for having me.
I love you too. All right. Bye-bye. Wow, that was so awesome. You guys got to go back and check out this replay. It was amazing. And I know there's just so much, but we cannot put it all in just one show because we have a limited time here. But I also wanted to shout out, I cannot leave this episode without shouting out number one, my husband, the king of my household. Oh my God, he wanted to come on today, but we are feeling a little bit under the weather today, especially me. So he's with the kids downstairs. I'm upstairs kind of quarantining a little bit, but I definitely wanted to shout him out. He's just a phenomenal father. I couldn't have asked for anyone better. Just a great example of what a father is. And he wanted to come on and testify, but God opened up a door another time. And so I wanted to tell him, thank you so much, babe. We love you. We appreciate everything that you have done for our household. And then also my daddy, I'm daddy's girl. So I got to shout out Mr. Charles, my daddy. I love him so much. And he's just been an awesome father, over me and my sisters and brothers. Great example of one that will just, provide for his family and teach his family and make sure that we know that we're loved and that we know who we are. And so just grateful for you, Dad. And again, all the fathers out there, my pastor, all the fathers, my cousins, my uncles, everybody who's poured into us. We're grateful for you. We love you. Keep on doing what you do because it is appreciated. All right, y'all. So this is my time. I'm going to ask that you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And make sure you go to my website, www.fitforhisuse.org. Go check it out, get some merchandise or whatever. I'm going to be updating it very soon with more things to come. But go ahead and do that. All right, y'all. I got to get off and go and take some medicine and lay down. Love y'all. Take care and God bless you. Bye.